Nicole has paid us a visit, but we keep going anyway. The turnout has been phenomenal all week long. I'll tell you what, I don't know that many people even left based on last night's hurricane party. The first ever clear hurricane party, which was awesome. Played cornhole, had drinks, etc. It was just phenomenal. So I have the pleasure of doing our kind of closing recap for the conference this year, 2022 Clear. The turnout was just unbelievable. I've got Sergeant Rich Rossman from Broward County here, the president of FleetPrew, as well as Ben Dugan, president of Clear. Guys, bravo. Great job. You guys blew it out of the market.
Thanks, John. Teamwork. Everyone within Clear coming together and putting together probably the best show of the year, the best conference of the year, without a doubt. We sat back there, waited, and we executed, and without a doubt, I think we put on the best show of the year.
The funny thing about this, not really funny, but when you think about Clear and FleetPrew, nobody's getting paid. I mean, we're all just here volunteering our time, putting it all together. This year, we actually used an outside organization to come in and help us promote both the conference as well as just kick it up maybe a notch, maybe 10 or 12 notches. I mean, the show, the kickoff was just incredible. The memorial we do to the fallen officers every year. Unfortunate that, that many fallen officers that we had to kind of tweak things around so the bagpipers didn't have to play all day long, right? What do you think, Ben? I mean, this is just, I don't know, can we outdo this next year?
Well, it's not going to be easy. I'll tell you what, though, this isn't our first hurricane, right? We had one.
That's right.
In Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach, so we're used to this kind of stuff, right? And but no, there was an unbelievable production the first day, and the entire conference, every session, every educational session. The idea of matching innovative technology with investigative strategies from both sides of the house, law enforcement and retail, has just been a remarkable experience for everyone. And when the hurricane hit, the Clear and FleetPrew are all about the people, right? And guys that overcome adversity or women that overcome adversity all the time, right? So this was nothing to us, right? Yeah. We had a little weather. Everybody withstood the storm. Everybody stayed. We had a great party. It's a packed house in there again today, right in the middle of a hurricane. There's not a lot of organizations can say that, and it all comes down to the people,
Yeah, I'd like to say, I think we took the wind out of Hurricane Nicole's sail right at about 3:45 when we had Coach Holtz, Lou Holtz, stepped up and delivered an unbelievable, all-inspiring leadership message. Yeah. So, but needless to say, as Hurricane Nicole was bearing down on us, she had nothing. We left with one of the greatest of all time. We were riding high, took that energy right into our reception. People were talking about it. People were a gentleman up in the hospitality suite from NYPD. Retired, is involved in the industry. He does trade shows all the time. He literally said when he was active duty with NYPD and all the trade shows he goes to, he says this conference was the best one he's ever attended when he was in law enforcement, and now he's within the retail community. And that was with a hurricane bearing down on us.
We had some really great content, as always, and it was all law enforcement, retail, investigative focus, and having those senior executives from organizations like HSI, Deputy Assistant Director Aguilar, Chief of Detectives from Chicago PD, as well as many, many others. We had a retired colonel who is now an executive with CVS presenting Landy. Yep. He did a phenomenal job as well. Sure. This year... Well, we've actually been doing it for a few years now, but this year we really did branch out. We had Doug and Raul here from the Pulse nightclub, Orange County. We had Survive First. Doug did a presentation on mental health. We had Marshall here, Dr. Marshall, talking about the transition from law enforcement into the private sector, how important that is. And I think, the feedback from all of these presentations has been just unbelievable, right? Dr. Marshall just taught his presentation above all. I mean, that really, when you talk about that transition, it hit home to me because I've done it a couple times. I can tell you everything he talked about, I experienced. I mean, it literally was Murphy's Law, and we had a conversation about that in our interview. Everything that can happen will.
It's amazing how things come. Like we keep saying, it's a grassroots effort. Dr. Marshall Jones, Ben and I met him earlier this year.
Yep.
We were attending the Florida Chiefs of Police conference here, and literally sat down, had a bite to eat with Dr. Marshall, and then from there, an idea was driven, and Marshall, he took it, ran with it, conducted a study. Absolutely a must if you're in law enforcement. Thinking, we take a lot of things for granted, and that's one of the things he teaches is assumptions.
Yep.
Don't assume anything. That transition from the public to the private, it's not as easy as everyone thinks. And what he put together was phenomenal. It's like I said, it should be a must for all law enforcement trying to take that leap. And it shows some of the pitfalls. I think it was a great session.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben?
Yeah, Rich nailed it. It's just great to see the curriculum that Clear puts together, right? That the reach that it's starting to get in universities. I mean, gosh, we had the head coach of Notre Dame here last night, but professors from universities, senior law enforcement from all over the country, right? All over the world. We had London PD here. Amazing. Right, and a few people from London with him that didn't just come by themselves. So the military, right, full bird colonels coming here, right, and partnering with us, right. Senior law enforcement, senior retail, a lot of vice presidents of asset protection were here, and their staffs and their directors, and just a absolutely fantastic group of solution providers. We've got a lot of solution providers like Securitas and Zellman and a few that have been with us since day one, right, and have always been loyal and understand the big picture. And we're so grateful to have them. So it's just such a great community, and it's just it's so cool that we can come together against probably the most unique time coming out of the pandemic, that we were able to grow this to this capacity this quickly in the middle of a pandemic is truly remarkable. And I don't know any other organization that could have done it, quite frankly.
Yeah. Excuse me. So, one of the things that during the interviews throughout the week, especially for those that have been around for quite some time, we just kept hearing the same resounding, it's like a family reunion, and it really is. We get to see each other sometimes throughout the year, but this really is. And when we all get together again, it's like old home week, right? We know where we've been, we know where we are today, and we're all, we get chills. We get chills thinking about, all of the things that we're doing and how we're making an impact to the industry on both the law enforcement side as well as retail. The feedback about the partnerships. People here have been making relationships all week. So that networking aspect of it, how important is that? The feedback that I've gotten, everybody is just unbelievable.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we are a family, right? And a big member of that family is our vice president, Jason Davies, who's standing here. Why don't you just pop in here real quick? Pop in here, man. Come on. Stand next to us. Guys like this make it so special, right, to do all the work behind the scenes and running up and downstairs all day and setting up all the sessions and doing all the real work that make me and Rich look so good. So I appreciate it. He is a big part of what we do, and the board at Clear and Fleet Proof come together, again, just like family. To get everything done, because some of these things aren't easy, and we had an outside production company this year, but that's where we are. We're gotten to the point where we got to bring in some professional help to take this higher and higher every year. So, and I think Amber Bradley and the calibration group and Talk LP did the right job, did a great job for us. So it's only going to get bigger and better.
Yeah. No, definitely a phenomenal conference. I've said this several times this week. I've been doing this with Fleet Proof and Clear since 1996. Been on the board of Fleet Proof for 22 years, and then of course from the beginning with Clear, I've never seen a conference go off this well. I've never seen the caliber of presentations. Our vendors are just ecstatic at the responses they got from the attendees. They're all planning on coming back and bringing more with them next year. I think you can't go wrong with coming to Orlando, whether there's a hurricane or it's sunny. It's always a good place. But a lot of really, really good folks here. And, you know, once again, we talk about people getting stuff done. Ben and Rich have been, you know, the cornerstone for both organizations for many years now. So I look forward to, you know, seeing what happens in the future. We will do bigger and better things.
Absolutely.
If you're not here next year, you're missing out. It will be bigger. It will be better.
Yep. You know, the funny thing is Jason and I are normally the AV guys, and Saturday afternoon, he and I are looking at each other like, what do we do?
How we pull this off?
But I think we both got our steps in all week long, probably by around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. We're still busy. We're like, wait a second, I thought we weren't doing anything this time.
Yeah.
But
JC, you deserve great credit, too. I mean, you guys do make it work like clockwork every year. You know, when we had to do what we had to do with the amount of resources that we had, you guys pulled it off flawlessly every year. So I know you guys were a little nervous the first couple of days. You didn't have a whole lot to do, but of course you jumped right in.
We ended up doing stuff anyway.
And worked a great week. So
this is actually the first year we haven't had to do an AV run to a store.
Absolutely.
At least a decade. So that was pretty amazing as well. So good job this week, Jason.
Great job.
Good job. And we pulled it off once again. And this year,
Sure did.
you know, we had some AV stuff to do, but it wasn't mind-numbing like it normally is, right?
No, absolutely.
Well, guys, I want to congratulate all three of you for just an incredible conference this year. I can't believe it. I am so looking forward to next year just to see what we pull off. I think that we can bring some really, really good stuff to folks next year. So
Absolutely.
thanks so much,
Thank you.
and thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, it's JC 2022 Coalition of Law Enforcement and Retail Conference down here in Orlando, Florida. We're weathering the storm, but we're having a good time. Session's packed next door, so stay tuned. We have a few more interviews to do today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again real soon.